Hello and welcome to this high-level overview demonstration of Dynamics 365 Business Central. My name is Colin Fulmer and I am the Customer Success Manager here at iCIPS Technology Group. Today I want to cover some key features of Business Central like the overall look of the user interface. I want to show how to create some purchase orders, do a little bit of planning around that. I also want to do some processing on the sales orders side, and of course we're going to dig into the fun stuff like the Office 365 Outlook integration and also how we can leverage Power BI within Business Central. So let's get started. So the first place I want to get started is right on the home page of Business Central. Okay, so what Microsoft has done here is they really simplified the user interface and they allowed everything to be within reason, everything to be essentially accessible within 1 or 2 clicks. Okay, so right now I'm logged in as the business manager role. And of course, Microsoft has already developed numerous roles out of the box that you can set up and set per user based on what their job is throughout the day at the company. So as the business manager role, I have access to almost all information that I would need if I was managing a business. Again, you can see numerous things here, and all these links here that are in green are hyperlinks that we can click on. So we see some quick actions across the top. We see a little ticker that's giving us various information. As we scroll down the page, we also see some KPIs and some tiles that we can take action on, right? So we see our sales this month is $1,091. We also see that we have some overdue sales invoices and purchase invoices as well. If we continue down the page, we're going to see some more tiles that we can take action on. And if I want to quickly see the sales invoices that I have out there, I just need to click the sales invoices tile, and it's going to pull up another window with those 12 sales invoices so I can quickly see them. And if I need to take action on any of them at that point in time, I can do that. So if I can just click back to my home page here, and continue down my home screen, we have what is called Insights. And these are Business Central out-of-the-box reports that we can leverage and kind of get some more information as to maybe top 5 customers by sales value. And again, these are interactive reports that we can kind of hover over. It's going to bring up the customer name, and it's also going to tell us how much in sales that customer has done. And again, we can hover over a different customer, get that same information. And we can also click on this interactive report and it'll bring up the customer card. So now we can quickly see some more information about this customer. And if we scroll down the page, of course, we can access different data on this customer. So again, one click brought up my customer card pretty easily. Now, right next to my insights, I have a Power BI reports. And this is the Microsoft Power BI application that is actually integrated and embedded right to my Business Central application. So if I expand this report, I can see that I have interactive maps and charts from Power BI that I have developed in Power BI, and I've made them accessible in Business Central. And again, these are all interactive, so as I would click on the North region and look at my total revenue by region, if I click North, all of these other charts are going to change and modify as I navigate around the report. So really cool Power BI integration from there as well to customize reports. All right, so the next thing I want to get into is going to be on the purchasing side of things and how to create a purchase order. And again, Microsoft has made it very easy and simple and also added many different ways that we can do this. Okay, so again, right from my home screen, I see my first option here is a quick action, and it's to create a purchase order. So if I want to quickly manually enter a purchase order, I know the information I need. I know exactly what items I need. I can click that button. It's going to open a new purchase order card, and I can come through here and start manually entering the information for the purchase order that I need. Okay, so if I know that I need, item 1900, and I know, I'm just going to send it to the main location, yellow location, and I know that I need 10 of these, I can kind of tick through here and enter that information manually. Okay, at this point I could release it or post it or what have you. Another way that I can enter some purchase orders more intelligently is going to be using order planning. And what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to come up here to my light bulb on my main page, and that's going to be our search option within our Business Central application. So if I look for order planning, and as I start typing, you see a list being compiled below for relative information. So this is called my order planning worksheet. And what this is going to do is once I go to process and hit calculate plan, it's going to go out in the system in a database and look at all sales orders and all items that are on sales orders and check back to the quantities and on the inventory levels that we have. So we see here that we have a sales order 1021 for Progressive Home Furnishings, and on that sales order is a bell, item 1600. Well, here we see that in order to fulfill this order, we need to purchase 100 of these bells to be able to complete this sales order 1021. It's also going to tell us some things like our order dates and that sort of thing. So once we kind of go through this list and make sure that we want or we have all of the items on here that we want to order, instead of going through and manually entering purchase orders and that sort of thing by hand, we can actually come up here and click make orders. So it's going to take that list that we just built and we just generated, and based off of replenishment rules for those items, it's going to either make purchase orders, it's going to create manufacturing orders, create assembly orders, based off of the rules for the items that we have set up. So if I were to just click OK here, it would go out and actually start creating purchase orders for all of my items, and of course it would group them by vendor. So if it knew I bought these 3 specific items from a certain vendor, it wouldn't break those up into separate purchase orders. It would consolidate all of them per vendor or by vendor, so we don't have a ton of purchase orders. So that's a cool way to kind of use a little bit of intelligence and look at inventory levels as well as need and quantity needed in order to fulfill some sales orders that we have out there, and then to quickly create purchase orders for that. All right, the next thing I would like to cover is our Office 365 Outlook integration to Business Central. So let's assume for the time being that I am a customer service rep or a sales rep, and I get an email from one of my customers, Joe Johnson here, and he's requesting that I place an order for him. Okay, so I can see, all right, Joe's asking that I place an order, and we see that we have 2 Business Central icons up top here on or within our Outlook integration. So what I can do if I want to verify that Joe is a customer, maybe I want to see what customer he belongs to, I can open my contact insights from Business Central within my Outlook application, and it's going to give me that information that I need. So it recognizes right away that Joe belongs to Progressive Home Furnishings, and as I open up that customer card, I can scroll through here and see some more information either about Joe or that customer. So I see that we currently have 28 ongoing sales orders, 2 quotes, and as I work my way down the customer card, I can see some more financial information like outstanding orders, kind of a quantity. So we see 43,000, and we also see an outstanding payment of $43,000. So if that all checks out and it looks okay, and I'm going to go ahead and create Joe's order for him. Within the customer card, I'm going to select new, and I'm going to go to sales order. But you can also see that we can create sales quotes, invoices, credit memos, and also reminders. But Joe asked for an order, so I'm going to go ahead and create that order for him. The next thing that this integration is going to do is Business Central is actually going to read the text in the body of my email from Joe. So it sees that he says, please send me an order for 4 Amsterdam lights. So Business Central immediately recognizes the item number for the Amsterdam light, and it also recognizes that quantity of 4. Now, this email coming from Joe does not need to be in any specific order in order for Business Central to kind of use its intelligence and pick up on that. But they have this suggested item lines box that pops up just so you can verify that it's gotten the information right, and it's pretty good. So if I like that, I can say OK. And the next step here for Business Central is it's actually going to create my order. So it's automatically going to fill in my customer name, contact information, posting dates, order dates, that sort of thing. And it's also going to fill in automatically my line items. So there's my 4 Amsterdam lights. from Joe, and I can go through here and set any other settings that weren't set by the default on the customer card if I need to do that. Now, the next cool thing here about this integration is I can come up here and we can next email the sales order confirmation to Joe. Okay, so if I select email confirmation, what it's going to do next is it's going to go ahead and it's going to generate a new email for Joe. It's going to attach a PDF of the order confirmation, and those are all custom reports that you can create and put your logo on and have in different fields visible for whatever needs you may have. But it's going to create a new email, it's going to put the quote in the body of the email, and it's also going to automatically attach a PDF for that. So you can also go ahead and then just send that out to Joe, and he should have his order confirmation. So again, here's my sales order for Joe, and if I actually go back to the Business Central application, I can come down here to my sales orders, and we can see just how live this interaction is between Outlook and Business Central. So we saw how Outlook can be used to enter sales orders as well as sales quotes and invoices, but of course we can manually enter these sales orders the same way that I showed you with a purchase order. So we have our quick actions, and we see that we have a sales order button here. We can click that, it'll pop open a sales order card, and then we can of course go through here and start manually entering our information. So sales reps have the ability to use Outlook and change emails into orders, as well as they can come directly into Business Central and manually enter a sales order. Okay, so the next thing we can take a look at is our items list. And again, it's one click from our home page here. We can get to our full items list. There's a couple different ways to view this items list. You can have large tiles and associate pictures with them. We have a couple items down here that have pictures. So if you're into kind of having this nice easy look at your items using pictures, you can do that. Another way is that we can just have a simple list and kind of some more information and data from this view. This is probably my favorite view just because it really simplifies things and makes it easy to access. So if I look at one of these items here, if I drill down on my bicycle, again, my green numbers and words are all hyperlinks that I can take action on and I can drill down into. So within my item card, this is really your master record for each item, and there's just a plethora of information that you are able to use and preset as defaults. So anytime this item is used elsewhere in the system, it'll pull the defaults from this item card to kind of streamline processes for you, so you don't constantly have to be entering the same information over and over again. So as I kind of scroll down here, we can see the different data fields and that sort of thing. And just give us some more real estate here. So I can see things like our shelf number, if we kind of keep track of where this item is. I can also see quantities on hand, quantities on sales orders, purchase orders. Again, I can take action on this quantity on a purchase order, so I can actually bring up and see exactly what purchase line is out there for that item. I can also set up my costing and posting methods. We have a couple different options here for costing method, FIFO, LIFO, specific, average, and standard costing methods. This is also where you'll set up your general posting groups for this item. Of course, we have our prices and sales, where you can set unit of measures if you want to keep track of any profit percentages. Replenishment is an important area because this is going to tell the system how we replenish this item. Okay, so we see here our replenishment system for this item is set to production order. So that tells me and tells the system that anytime we run out of this bicycle item, item 1000, the only way we're going to get more is to produce it, right? We need to make a manufacturing order anytime we need more of these. So that's how we have it set up here. We have it set up to production order. You can also, if you just buy this item, you can have it set to just create a purchase order or an assembly order if you just do basic assemblies. Now, since it is a production order, we can also set up the manufacturing policies and routing numbers and of course production bombs, that sort of thing. So over here on the right hand side, we have a policy of make to order. We can also have it make to stock. So in this instance, we have a routing number that we can set up, and it specifies the number of the production routing that the item is used in. So if we actually wanted to look at this routing, we can come in here and see our list of different routings. So we want to look at, we can select our routing number of 1000 for the bicycle. We can also set our production BOM for this item. We see we have a couple different BOMs in here. We can take a look at how these BOMs or bill of materials are set up. We can also set up a flushing method, which in this case is manual. You can do forward and backward. We can also set up a scrap percent by default, and of course assign a lot size. So as we continue down the item card here, we can see all of the different defaults that we can have set. We can also do some item tracking, of course, if you use serial numbers or lot numbers or any type of expiry calculations. We can set those here and set a numbering series up so it automatically pulls and generates either a lot number or serial number if they're not already assigned. We can also set up some warehouse class codes, put away template codes if you use any type of warehousing. I'm going to go back to my main list here of items, and this is kind of where the Excel, Microsoft Excel integration comes in. We can come up to pages, and we can either open this list in Excel, or we can edit this list in Excel. So if we do an open in Excel, it's just going to be kind of a way to view and maybe filter and look at our data that is in our inventory or item list. If we do an edit in Excel, what it's actually going to do is it's going to pull this same list into Excel, but it's also going to give us the option to edit it. And once we make any changes, say you want to pull that in, if you're more comfortable working in Excel to make large changes or mass changes to multiple different items, you can make those changes in Excel. And what they actually did is created a publish button. So once you've made those changes, you can publish it back to Business Central. So anybody else in the system and all of those changes are made to the database in real time. So you don't have to come back here and kind of manage and have two different lists and figure out what has been changed in Excel and what has been changed in Business Central and kind of, butt those two together. If you hit that publish button, it'll make all of those changes to your Business Central database automatically. And again, as you see on my right hand side, I have some different fact boxes, and you can choose to hide or show these different fact boxes. But as I hover over different items, it's going to change and give me some different information based on the item itself. So that's a cool, nice little look at some additional information within your items. So far we've covered some sales order side of things, we've covered purchasing, and of course some inventory management and that sort of thing. But the next kind of area I want to look at, of course, is the finance side of things, because that's going to be important to a lot of people. Of course, that's kind of how you view the health of your business and your success within your business. So as the business manager, as you had that, one-click access to your, kind of operations side of things, you also have that same access to the financial side of things. So right up here, we have our different bank accounts that we can take a look at, and all these are set up in here by you and your team and your financial team, and of course with the assistance of ICEPS. As we come through here, we can set up different bank account information. Across the top here, we have a finance tab. So this is going to give us access to all the financial aspects of the system and of your business. So we have our chart of accounts that we can look at. This is going to give us access and information based on all of our different accounts. We can drill down into here and see more information about our checking account. We can take a look at total assets, and really you just see a nice simple look at all the information that you have and all the different accounts that you have, and kind of the amount in there and how it got there. Okay, so you see we have payments, and you can scroll through here and payments to certain invoices, that sort of thing. So it's a great look at your general ledgers and that sort of thing. You can also run reports like a trial balance summary, and you can set a date range. Again, you can throw these lists and information out to Excel to edit it or open it, or if you're comfortable with creating charts and reports and stuff that you would need for presentations in Excel, you can certainly and easily toss all this information out to Excel and complete those reports. If I go back to the home screen again, we see it in action here. That's just Excel reports. So any of these reports will open automatically in Excel that we can take action on them there. We can also just view reports in our financial statements within kind of a PDF-like view within Business Central and our web browser here. So again, multiple different ways to get our financial reports, just like there's multiple simple ways to kind of access our operations side of things regarding items, sales orders, and purchase orders. So that does conclude our overview demonstration of Microsoft's Dynamics 365 Business Central. If you have any questions or would like to see a more detailed, in-depth demo on any topics that we covered today, or even any topics that we might not have covered today, please reach out and we'll set up a time to do so. You can also visit our website at www.iceps.com for a great deal of additional information.